I thought my quiet Saturday afternoon in my new suburban neighborhood was about to become a legal nightmare when my neighbor called the police on my family barbecue. What she didn't know was that I'd spent 15 years taking down organized crime rings as an FBI special agent, and what I definitely didn't expect was that her husband's name would look very familiar when I checked my work. Context: that Monday morning, after 23 grueling years with the Bureau, I wasn't looking for excitement. I was looking for peace. I'd finally accepted a supervisory role, a desk job that promised me weekends off, dinner at a reasonable hour, and the chance to actually watch my two daughters grow up. Oakmont Hills was supposed to be our sanctuary. It was the kind of place with manicured lawns and wide streets, the perfect backdrop for a quiet life. I'm a rule follower by nature and trade. Before I signed a single paper on this house, I memorized the HOA covenants. I knew the rules better than the people who wrote them. That Saturday in late May was supposed to be perfect. My youngest was turning 8. The sun was shining. The smell of charcoal and grilled burgers filled the patio, and a playlist of classic rock hummed at a volume low enough to have a conversation over. We had done everything by the book, even notifying the immediate neighbors 24 hours in advance. Then the storm arrived. Her name was Patricia Hendress. She didn't walk, she marched, clad in a pristine white tennis outfit with oversized sunglasses perched on her head. Like a crown, she was pointing a manicured finger at my grill before she even crossed the property line. Excuse me! Excuse me! I wiped my hands and walked over, flashing my best neighborly smile. Hi there, I'm Marcus. We just moved in 3 weeks ago. I extended a hand. She looked at it like it was covered in toxic waste. I don't care who you are. Your barbecue smoke is drifting onto my patio. That music is aggressive, and you absolutely did not get approval for a gathering of this size. I kept my voice steady, the same tone I used during suspect interrogations. I checked the bylaws, ma'am. Gatherings under 20 people require no permit. We have 12, mostly children. The music is under the decibel limit, and the smoke, well, it's a barbecue. She stepped closer, invading my personal space. Are you arguing with me? I am the HOA compliance officer. I interpret the rules. You will be receiving a formal citation. My wife, Sarah, stepped up beside me, squeezing my hand, a silent signal to stay calm. We'll be wrapped up by 7, Patricia. It's just a birthday party. Patricia sneered, pulling out her phone. We'll see what the police have to say about just a party. 20 minutes later, a cruiser rolled up. The 2 officers looked exhausted before they even stepped out. They saw the balloons, the kids eating cake, and me standing calmly by the grill. The older officer sighed. Sir, we got a noise complaint. Officer, does this look like a riot to you? I showed him the HOA guidelines on my phone. He nodded, turning to Patricia. Ma'am, they are well within their rights. There is no disturbance here. Please stop wasting police resources. Patricia turned a shade of violent red. He is violating the neighborhood aesthetic.
The smoke!
The noise!
That's a civil matter, the officer said firmly. Have a nice day, folks. As they drove away, Patricia stood there, phone raised, recording us like we were criminals. This isn't over, she hissed. You have no idea who you're dealing with. I almost laughed. She had no idea. Sunday morning, the retaliation arrived. A thick envelope in my mailbox, stamped urgent. Inside was a notice of violation signed by Patricia Hendress. 500 for an unauthorized gathering, 300 for excessive noise, $200 for improper outdoor cooking, a cool $1,000 in fines for eating a burger in my own backyard. I didn't get mad. I got to work. I photographed the letter, the grill, the yard, and the rule book proving I was innocent. That evening, I walked next door. A man answered. He was in his 40s, trim, short hair, carrying himself with a rigidity that screamed military or law enforcement. Hi, I'm Marcus. Is Patricia home? David Hendress, he said, shaking my hand with a grip that was firm but weary. 1 second. Patricia appeared behind him, her eyes narrowing. What do you want? These fines, I held up the paper. They cite rules that don't exist. I was in full compliance. I'm giving you a chance to rescind them before this escalates. She crossed her arms, a smirk playing on her lips. The board has discretion to interpret standards. You can appeal next month. Until then, pay up by Friday or they double. That creates a liability for the HOA, I warned. Arbitrary enforcement is illegal. Are you threatening me? She shrieked, looking at her husband. David, he's threatening me. David looked pained, like he wanted to be anywhere else. Look, buddy, just maybe pay the fine. Keep the peace. Patricia stepped forward, her voice dripping with venom. If I see one more toe out of line, I will make this neighborhood uninhabitable for you. I walked away without a word. I didn't need to argue. I needed intel. Monday morning, I was at my desk at the bureau. I logged into the internal personnel database. I typed in David Hendress. The screen loaded and my jaw tightened. David Hendress. Special Agent, Financial Crimes Division. Grade GS-13. He specialized in mortgage fraud. But when I pulled up the organizational chart, the picture became crystal clear. David reported to the Assistant Special Agent in charge, who reported to the Special Agent in charge, who reported to me for interagency task forces. Technically, I was 3 levels above him in the food chain. The harassment escalated quickly. That evening, a stranger in a beat-up sedan was parked across my driveway, photographing my house. When I confronted him, he flashed a laminated badge that said, HOA Code Enforcement. He handed me a fine for my grass being a ray of inches too tall. Who hired you? I asked, snapping a photo of his license plate. Lady next door, he muttered, looking nervous. I'm just doing a job. That badge is fake, I said coldly. And you are trespassing. He scrambled into his car and sped off.
But Friday?
Friday was the breaking point. My wife called me at work, her voice trembling. Marcus, a man tried to come into the backyard while the girls were playing. He claimed our swing set was an illegal structure. He told me if we didn't take it down, he'd file a report with Child Protective Services for unsafe living conditions. The blood in my veins turned to ice. Fraudulent fines were annoying. Trespassing was illegal. But threatening my children? That was an act of war. Lock the doors, I told her. I'm handling this. I didn't call the police. I pulled out my secure work phone. I sent a single email to David Hendress's bureau address. Subject urgent, personal matter, professional conduct. Body, Agent Hendress, regarding your wife's illegal activities. My office, Monday, 0900 hours, non-optional. SSA Marcus Chen, Organized Crime Division. Monday morning, David stood in my doorway. He looked like a man walking to the gallows.
Sir, I got your message. I
didn't realize you were that Marcus Chen. Sit down, Agent. I didn't yell. I slid a thick file folder across the mahogany desk. It hit the wood with a heavy thud. In the last 7 days, your wife has issued $2,000 in fraudulent fines. She has hired private citizens to impersonate officials. And on Friday, she threatened to weaponize Child Protective Services against my daughters. David opened the folder. He saw the photos of the fake badges, the threatening letters, the witness statements. His face went gray. Jesus, I didn't know about the fake agents, I swear. She just told me we had a difficult neighbor. I investigate organized crime. David, your wife is running a racketeering scheme from her kitchen. Table, fraud, harassment, impersonation. I leaned forward, locking eyes with him. Here's what happens next. You are going home. You are going to tell your wife that she threatened a senior federal agent. You are going to tell her to get a lawyer, because I have already sent this file to the county prosecutor. David stood up, shaking. "I'll handle it, sir, immediately. I need a witness statement from you, David, for the prosecutor. Don't throw your career away for her ego." "Yes, sir." I went home early that day. Around 4 p.m., I watched David's car screech into his driveway. He stormed inside. Even through the brick walls, I could hear the shouting. 20 minutes later, the front door flew open. Patricia came charging across the lawn, face twisted in pure rage. She didn't care about the consequences. She only cared that her power was being challenged. I opened my door before she could pound on it. "How dare you!" she screamed, spittle flying. "You go behind my back to my husband? You think you can intimidate me? I run this neighborhood. I will ruin you." I didn't say a word. I simply reached into my pocket and pulled out my leather credential case. I flipped it open. The gold badge glinted in the sunlight. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Special Agent. "Mrs. Hendress," I said, my voice low and dangerous, "I am a federal agent. You have committed fraud, criminal impersonation, and harassment. The prosecutor has the file." "Stop talking." The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. But," David said, "I thought he was lying."
You thought he was lying about my authority?
I stepped closer. "Your husband works for me, Patricia." Did he forget to mention that? David appeared behind her, looking defeated. "Patricia, get inside, now." "Fix this, David," she wailed, grabbing his arm. "I can't fix this." David snapped, pulling away. "You committed felonies, Patricia. You threatened his kids." At that moment, 2 patrol cars rolled up. Silent, no sirens. The same officers from Saturday stepped out, but they weren't smiling this time. "Mr. Chen?" the officer asked. "That's me." "We have a warrant to speak with Patricia Hendress regarding allegations of fraud and extortion." Patricia's knees buckled. David had to hold her up. As the police questioned her, the neighborhood started to wake up. Doors opened. People stepped out. Mr. Patterson, the elderly man from 2 doors down, walked up to my driveway. "Is it true?" he asked, pointing his cane at the police cars.
Is she finally getting caught?
"She is," I said. "She fined me $800 for my grandkids' bikes," he spat. A young woman joined us. "She threatened to take my dog away. Cost me a fortune in fines." One by one, the victims of her reign of terror came out. I told them all the same thing. Write it down. The prosecutor needs every receipt. By Wednesday, the HOA board held an emergency session. Patricia was removed from power instantly. The investigation revealed she had collected over $47,000 in bogus fines over 3 years. She was charged with fraud and criminal impersonation. David requested a transfer to a field office 3 states away. He came by one last time to apologize, a good man destroyed by his wife's hubris. The fines were voided. The money was returned. And now on Saturdays I grill my burgers in peace. The kids play on the swing set, and nobody calls the police. Patricia learned a hard lesson that week. Bullies only thrive when they think their victims are weak. She thought she was the ultimate authority in Oakmont Hills. She didn't realize that sometimes the quiet guy next door is the one person you really shouldn't mess with. Thank you for watching this story of what happens when HOA power goes unchecked. If you enjoyed seeing justice served against an out-of-control board member, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more stories of karmic revenge and people learning painful lessons. Have you dealt with similar HOA nightmares or neighbors who thought they were above accountability? Share your stories in the comments. I read everyone.